Welcome participants to this MOOC course on climate change vulnerability and adaptation. The content of this course is not only relevant for the different syllabuses but also for general understanding of the phenomena. I am Shahab Fazal, faculty in the Department of Geography, Aligarh Muslim University. Climate change is a much talked about topic for everyone. It is emerging as a big challenge to the humanity. In modern times, we find that climate change is debated at every forum. It has its bearing on everyone, be it humans, flora, fauna, in fact, everything over the earth. They are having the footprint of climate change. So, what is climate change? And why it is so imposing? Why we are talking all the time and trying to relate every phenomena with the impact of climate change? For this, we need to understand the phenomena. If I can say, right from the very beginning, transformations and changes, they have happened over the earth. As initially when earth came into existence and life took shape in different forms over earth in accordance to the environment, the given environment, the surrounding of that period. But thereafter, different transformations in every domain of environment and different component of world have culminated into this modern earth on which we are living. The evidence are overwhelming that all life on earth has evolved from common ancestors in an unbroken chain since its origin. You recall the Darwin's principle of evolution, along with physical alterations of land, water, air, and our surrounding. The environment all have changes since its beginning, its inception. Here the earth, its environment and different elements are so varied and diverse that the outcome and appearance are also very complex, and if I can say, they are multifaceted. So understanding the causes of climate change is critical. Interestingly, some natural processes also make changes in climate. And Earth's climate has naturally also been influenced by the natural forces also. So climate change is a very complex phenomena which is coming up over the Earth's surface with time. It took a very long period of time to the situation in which the present day Earth environment is existing. It is influenced by natural forces as well as in recent time more by the human activities. So as you know, the earth has gone through various ice ages. There have been many warm periods also. And more, even before human influence, the natural drivers like volcanic activity, changes in solar output and ocean currents, all of them, they have shaped these shifts and the changes which has happened over the earth's surface. For example, volcanic eruptions, whenever they take place over the earth's surface, these eruptions release large amount of ash, aerosols and greenhouse gases, which we will be discussing a little later in detail, like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere. The sun's energy output, it also changes due to, say, sunspot cycles, and also at different time period, the solar flares, they are also not uniform with time. At times, the solar flares are higher and at times they are a little lesser. Earth's orbit around the sun also fluctuates, although they take thousands of years for these fluctuations, but altering amount of solar energy which Earth receives, they are quite significant for the temperature around Earth. I've talked about Earth's fluctuation, orbital fluctuations. They include many dimensions. For example, eccentricity. It is related with the shape of Earth's orbit. But it takes very long period of time, maybe some 100,000 years. Another can be obliquity. It is related with the tilt of Earth axis, which changes again with a long period of time, say 40,000 years. The precession, it is the wobble or wobbling of the Earth axis. It again takes quite a long period of time. The scientists suggest that it takes somewhere around 25,000 years. All of them, they have contribution to the changes on the Earth, not only on the Earth, but in the context of climate change, they have their bearing on the Earth's climate also. But these are natural. But more importantly, they take a very long period of time. So in that context, I would say that there are many natural factors also, but they are long period changes. They result into long period changes. So Earth's environment has experienced some significant transformations with time. There is no doubt about it. This is what the Earth's geological history also suggests us. And it is scientific fact. Among these changes observed, some, if I can bring in some examples, like geological changes. You see, you all might be aware that our planet was formed about 4.5 billion years ago. And through its lifetime, it has witnessed the drift of continents. The formation of oceans have taken place, shrinking and emergence of oceans and islands. The landforms, plain, plateau, valley, etc., they all have been formed over the Earth's surface with time. They are all very large-scale changes which has happened over the Earth. And they have their bearing on the climate of the Earth also. So these are natural forces which have made many changes over the Earth's surface. There have been also examples and evidences of climate shifts over the Earth's surface, from ice age to warmer interglacial periods. The Earth's climate has fluctuated significantly. If you take the biodiversity, life on Earth has evolved through 5 major mass extinctions, and each reshaped the balance of species which were related to the climate of that particular period of time. Now, human impact is pushing many species to the brink also in modern day, and it is also resulting into reduction of biodiversity. The difference between the earlier extinction and modern day biodiversity reduction, that modern day it is at a very rapid, very fast pace. The earlier extinctions of biodiversity and other changes which I am referring to, they were long period changes. And the reasons, the causes were they were natural, these are human induced. Now, when I am saying that there is a lot of human intervention, human activities are very pronounced. If I can give some examples of human influence over the Earth's surface, you might have heard and know there are various phenomena and various terms which are related to our discussion. For example, industrialization, urbanization, deforestation, and pollution, which in modern day is so common. All of them, they have altered the landscapes. Not only the landscape, the water bodies, the atmospheric compositions. The Anthropocene epoch marks significant human impact on Earth's age, geology, and ecosystem. In this context, the current period of climate change, which we are observing, which we are debating, which we are discussing a lot, these rapid change at an unprecedented rate compared to Earth's history. Important to note that this phenomena is dynamic but very complex. And most significantly, all these changes which we are referring to, for example, industrialization, urbanization process, deforestation, increased intense human activities over the Earth's surface, they are all human induced. They are primarily driven by human activities. And all the previous changes and transformations were all natural. So this is the distinction. This is significant and noteworthy. That earlier changes, they were all natural, due to natural forces. These changes which we are observing in modern day, which we are discussing and debating a lot, the phenomena of climate change, this is more human induced due to intense human activity. If I can give another example which is of recent origin, because the scientists have found it in recent time, but it also have natural bearing. For example, now in modern time, a lot is discussed about El Niño and La Niña in the context of climate change. But I would put this phenomena also in Earth's natural changes. However, its impacts are noticeable only because of the changes which are happening in modern day in the climatic conditions. The climate change impacts have been accelerated, I would say, or these impacts are much more prominent only because the human activities have been added to this El Niño and La Niña effect. These effects, El Niño and La Niña, these are southern oscillation, ENSO, refers to periodic fluctuations in sea surface temperature and atmospheric pressure over the equatorial Pacific Ocean, which influence global weather and climate patterns over shorter time scales, maybe 2 to 7 years. You see, all earlier natural forces which I referred to, they were long period changes. But this is short period changes. But it also have, the origin of it is more natural, although some scientists also suggest that these have been accelerated and become more prominent because of climate change. If I continue with El Niño, it is the warm phase of ENSO, the southern oscillation. And during El Niño, trade winds, it's a little geographic, but if I can explain this, that during El Niño, trade winds weaken and warm water that is usually confined to the western part of Pacific Ocean shifts a little eastward towards the central and eastern Pacific Ocean. This leads to warmer sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern Pacific, disrupting normal weather patterns. Just opposite to it, La Niña, it is the cold phase of ENSO, the southern oscillation, where stronger than normal trade winds push warm water further west, allowing the cold water from the deep sea to come up to the surface in the eastern Pacific. So I can conclude that this ENSO, the southern oscillation, in some way are more natural phenomena, but have impact on the climate change. For example, during El Niño event, the global average temperature tends to rise because of the warming of Pacific waters. But it also adds to the effect of anthropogenic global warming and ultimately add to the larger climate change phenomena. And that is why both of them, they go hand in hand. And this El Niño phenomena, it has come to the discussion more because of the more prominent climate change phenomena. Now coming back to the main theme of climate change. To begin with, first I define the term climate change. So the climate change is a long-term change in the average weather patterns that define Earth's local, regional or global climates. So here another term I have used, that is weather. So weather arises, it's a short-term local atmospheric conditions that is expressed as today is a hot weather, or it is a cold weather, it is a rainy season, rainy weather, today it's raining, or I may say that today the weather is very humid. So when I say this about weather condition, it is for any specific location. As we observe today is humid, or it's drizzling or scorching hot, which tomorrow or very soon may change. This is weather of that specific location. But if this persists consistently, it becomes climate of that location. So we observe in India, January month is cold month, relatively cold month in northern India. June is hotter. July, August we receive rains. So this is the climate, general climate of northern India. Here climate is the aggregated pattern of weather. And when we say climate change, it means altered weather patterns. If I can sum up, I would say that climate change is a long-term change in the average weather patterns. But suppose if in January, which I am saying in North India, it's very cold, it becomes relatively lesser cooler, suppose. Or if instead of July, August, rain occurs in October, or summer extends up to August or September. So this is deviation from the normal weather condition and weather patterns. This is what commonly known as climate change. That means what? That means that the average weather patterns are not consistent, and it is more prominent in modern day. And that is why we are saying that these days, modern day, we are observing the impact of climate change. I hope that you understand the distinction between weather and climate. And if I can add further, climate change is broadly, I can say, altered weather pattern, which we observe on daily basis. For longer period of time, it will be called as climate. Now, why and how it is happening, that is important to understand, this phenomena of climate change. I explained different transformations over Earth in the past, which were result of natural forces. Now, scientists attributes this present day climate change to the phenomena of global warming. Now, I have used another term, which is global warming. Now, the global warming is the phenomena of increasing average temperature near the surface of the Earth. It is the increase of air temperature of the atmosphere, the lower level layer atmosphere especially. And that has happened over the past few decades. This phenomena is known as greenhouse effect. The average increase of air temperature near the surface. It is known as greenhouse effect. If I can explain further, this is very interesting but very complex. In short, if I can say that life over the Earth is possible only because Earth has an atmosphere around us. Atmosphere means what? Atmosphere means it is a mixture of various gases, water vapor, and many other constituents like dust, smoke, etc. They form the atmosphere around us, over the Earth's surface. If I can explain it in a more generalized manner, I would say that the atmosphere naturally act as a blanket. Blanket in the sense that during winter we use blanket to protect ourselves from the cold condition which is around us. Now, this atmosphere, when I say that it acts as blanket, it makes adequate, or rather maintain adequate warmth for survival of not only human being but all kinds of flora, fauna and living organism over the earth's surface. Actually, it has many protagonists. It also protects us from harmful short wave radiation which is radiated from the sun. You might be aware of it, that X-rays, gamma rays and some portion of ultraviolet rays, they are being blocked by the atmosphere. They are not reaching up to the earth's surface. But as blanket, atmosphere also trap the terrestrial long wave radiation to keep earth and its surrounding warm. So the atmosphere have dual role. One, to protect us from harmful rays which carries a lot energy, X-rays, gamma rays, etc. And that is why only the earth has life. Other planets, they do not have that kind of blanket, that kind of atmosphere which can protect them from harmful rays which are emitted from the sun. Now, as I have said that the atmosphere is acting as a blanket. It is trapping the long wave terrestrial radiation, and that way the surrounding earth atmosphere is a little warm. Otherwise, what would have happened? During night time, the earth temperature would have come down very low in the absence of sunlight, and the energy would have radiated back into the space, making earth very cool. The temperature would have gone very low during the night time when the sunlight is not there. Now, here you need to understand the interaction mechanism of sun's electromagnetic radiation. The electromagnetic radiation, the EMR, and constituents of atmosphere, which is very important. As you commonly know, ozone gas, a lot of discussion in academic world and in general public also, this ozone gas relevance have been debated a lot. Commonly we know that ozone gas in atmosphere blocks the ultraviolet rays. And in that way, each constituent of atmosphere has definite and specific role. And all of this role is all natural. So naturally, there are some atmospheric constituents, they are blocking different harmful rays to reach up to the earth's surface, protecting us. And some of the greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, methane, they are main greenhouse gases which have the property to trap the earth's emitted energy. But what has happened due to increased human activities, that has resulted into excessive emissions of these greenhouse gases, as I am saying, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, sulfur dioxide, methane, etc. Due to human activities, excessive emissions are taking place, and greater concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, resulting more trapping of heat, making earth and its atmosphere warmer than normal. This is commonly known as global warming. So when the concentration of greenhouse gases are increasing because of human activities and emissions because of human activities, they are resulting into more trapping of Earth's terrestrial radiation, resulting into this phenomena of global warming. The IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, they suggest that Earth temperature has increased by about 1.4 degrees centigrade during the last 100 years after the Industrial Revolution. That is significant. As I have said that this is complex and dynamic, I would try to unravel the mystery in our coming discussions. But in this part, now you understand the term climate change. So now I close this discussion with the suggestion to look back into the term of climate, weather, electromagnetic radiation, and atmospheric interaction with respect to greenhouse gas effect. Thank you. Happy learning.